Sophisticated ignorance.
Your use of the word friend alarms me.
Why? Do you not like when I say the word friend?
Sounds a little facetious.
Okay. What would you like me to use?
You can use whatever you want to use, but the F word doesn't sound sincere.
So when I say it, it's not sincere. But when others use it, it's fine.
Others like who?
Your other friends.
You can't be jealous of my other friends.
I see what you did there. Very clever. I am not jealous of your other friends, first and foremost, knowing that you have a plenty of them.
I have a very small circle of friends. You know this.
It's not about quality. It's not about quantity. It's about quality.
It's definitely about quantity.
Yikes. What does that mean? I have a lot of friends, quote unquote, but I also recognize that there are some friends who are more acquaintances, and there's some friends that are more like actually deep friends.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
See, I don't like the way you say yes, because that sounds facetious.
No. It's true.
See how that works?
No. I think you're just trying to, how they say, come back at me. But
I'm trying to clap back.
Friends,
Is that what I'm doing?
Friends don't do that to each other.
I agree. I agree wholeheartedly.
Yes.
Well, good thing we are very good friends.
I'm glad we're friends. I'm so
Same.
glad we're friends. Yes.
The alternate would not be pretty.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Sophisticated Ignorance Podcast. My name is Rovie.
I'm Vixon J. Welcome back.
Welcome.
For another fun episode. I hope you're all doing fun out there. Fun times. Hope you're doing good and everyone's safe. And yeah, we're rocking out with another episode of us talking about some important topics that are important to us. Isn't that right?
Yeah, very important, especially, in our day-to-day.
Correct. How's you been, Rove? What's the word? Good?
I've been good, just trying to maintain this season of absolute glory and evolution and being grounded. And, the sun signs right now are just resonating with me. What about you?
Same. So let's get into the topic at hand. Don't want to waste any time.
You don't want to talk about the season right now?
Well, summer is still upon us. It's still very hot. We just had a hurricane in New York City. So that was a lot. I was actually outside and said hurricane. It felt like I was taking a shower, but I couldn't control the pressure of the water. It was really bad. So for those who experienced Hurricane Henry in New York City specifically.
I thought it was Henri.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Henry, because it's an I, not a Y.
You sound mad Jamaican. Henri.
I don't know what
there's no emphasis on the H.
There's supposed to be an emphasis on the I. I don't know. Whatever. The point is that hurricane was wild. And there was mad flooding. And yeah, it was just not a good thing to be outside in that. For those who might have experienced flooding or happened to be caught outside in that, I just feel bad. I saw when I was on my I was in a cab on my way home, and I saw a car literally like halfway up flooded in water. It was wild. I've never seen something like that before. So, as I said, I hope people survive.
I'm glad you're safe.
Yes, I am. Outside of that, the season itself, I was skirting away from the topic, but yes, it is Love Virgo season.
Is it? It's Virgo season? Is
it? Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, it's my favorite season of the year.
Is it? Oh my goodness. It's mine too.
Some of the best people I know are Virgos, in fact.
Really? Correct. Who do you know that are Virgos that are the best people in your life?
Well, first and foremost on my list of favorite Virgos of all time is you, Rovie, aka Spicy.
Oh my God. Wow.
I know you
That
didn't see that coming.
that oh, I did not, because Virgos are just humble people, and we are very
So humble,
modest
extremely
in
modest.
our actions, and we are very level-headed, and we are grounded, and we like to center ourselves. So I'm appreciative that I am one of your top favorite Virgos.
Hmm.
I'm happy to be in the season because it's a celebration of new life for me, and I always feel special around this time because this is my favorite season, not only because it is my sun sign, but also I love that weather change season between summer and fall. That's
Yep.
my favorite. Getting into the hoodies, but it's still warm enough where you can just not wear a winter jacket. That's the favorite for me. But
That's
thank you for
that's it
that.
for you. Of course. I have committed and vowed to myself that I will be nice to all Virgos that I know and don't know at the same time. It is time for me to
Wait,
retire my past animosities to Virgos everywhere.
did you not like Virgos before? I'm not understanding. We're the best sign.
Hmm. Hmm. I guess I was blinded to that fact years ago based off of past relationships, but now I've seen the light and I realized that Virgos are the ones for me. I
That
have
sounds
seen
facetious.
I have seen the error of my ways, and I have finally realized that I've been wronged this whole time.
Well, I'm glad you see the light now. We're the only human sign, just so you know.
We should move swiftly along. I don't want to. Um, I don't want to take away from this glorious moment, but I feel like we should move on to today's topic.
That's true. I just want to shout out to all the Virgos, though. Happy birthday to everyone's listening. All the
Mhm.
Virgos, this is our season. We're going to celebrate. We're going to turn up, and you guys enjoy the rest of the season.
Yes,
We
and
can move on now.
if you're not a Virgo, stand back and stand by.
Your time will come if you're not a Virgo.
Eventually.
It it's a yearly thing. Well,
Oh, of course.
I don't understand the faces you're making right now.
What
The audience
faces?
isn't seeing it, but it seems very fake. Like kind of jealous, kind of that it's not your season right now. Like everybody gets their chance to have their own season. I don't want this
Hmm.
kind of toxic type of energy going into the season right now. So maybe if you could just be a little bit more sincere.
No, no toxicity here. I am doing my best to support my fellow Virgoins, and you know,
Virgos.
yes, that's what I meant, and to let you all know that I'm here in full support.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
There it is. Those are my kind words of the day. Let's move on. So, today's episode, we are talking about jealousy. I don't know if we talked about this on the show before, but I mean, it's always good to revisit it, especially now with things going on and times changing. There's different forms of jealousy out there, and I'm pretty sure, Rovi, you've been in scenarios where you've either had jealous friends, people who have been jealous of you, or you might have been jealous of someone in your circle, and how that has affected you and relationships. So, a nice refresher conversation about jealousy, I feel, is important, especially now with everyone, kind of reevaluating their relationships and friendships and other types of dynamics in this season. I feel like it's important that we bring this up. So yeah, let's get
I
into it.
agree.
Um, what are your general thoughts about jealousy as a trait?
Jealousy as a trait is something that I think is detrimental to relationships.
I
And I think ideally, we're not even talking about just romantic relationships, but friendship relationships, like close friends that you may be jealous of, or that's the basis of some people's relationships, aka frenemies.
Mhm.
You have someone that you've aligned with majority of your life, and the whole time they've been jealous of you. So they've been giving you snarky comments or coming to you with a lot of negative vibes. They never really listen to you when you talk. Whenever you have some sort of good news, you try to look at someone and see how they react to your good news. And if they react negatively or just condescending or don't even acknowledge your good news. Let's say if you got a new job or if you got pregnant and they've always wanted to have a child and they're treating you negatively, that's what I underline as a jealous trait. Now, is that healthy for someone who you call close, or someone that you entrust your secrets with, or someone that you communicate on a daily basis? No. And I have to say that I have been fortunate. I don't know if it's been fortunate or not. I don't think people are jealous of me. Maybe if they are, they don't confront me because, I guess the energy that don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm listening. I'm
the
actively
energy
listening.
the energy that I bring to the table is a don't fuck with me attitude, kind of. You know what I mean?
Yes, I could agree with that.
Don't agree. I'm evolving, okay? Trying to bring out the softer side, but it's sort of like a barrier just to protect myself. Because listen, if you come to me with bullshit, I'm going to call you out on it. So don't come and say, "Oh well, where did you get this bag? Because I didn't know that you could afford it." Uh, Stop the
Yeah,
brakes. Why
we
would you
gotta
say that?
we gotta talk about backhanded compliments. We gotta
Like,
talk about it.
how, I mean, you're my friend. You knew I was talking about this particular bag. This is just something out of the blue. I was talking about a particular bag. It's something that I've always wanted. And then you turn around and say, "Oh, I didn't know you could afford that." And you knew my struggles. You knew that maybe hey, it's a heat wave. I got to pay extra for Con Edison. Boom, I've been using my stove more often. National Grid took a chunk of my money and my rent. Like, you're supposed to be my close friend and you're
Mhm.
trying to just come and slice me at my ankles. No pun intended. But that type of relationship is something that a lot of people deal with and a lot of people don't talk about, because it's hard to confront somebody who's your friend, especially a longtime friend. If it's somebody that you knew from your childhood, it's kind of like a family member without the blood. You know what I mean? So it's hard to confront and say, "Hey, I don't appreciate you talking about me like this," because that's where a lot of pent up frustration comes up. And of course, with social media, you'll see somebody looking at your stories and wonder, "Oh, is that a sub for me? Or are they talking about me?" After there's some internal conflict that hasn't been surfaced to talk about.
Right. But in those cases, right, when like, I mean, we could talk about like, the different areas of jealousy, whether it's like through social media or family or friends and stuff like that. But I guess when you pick up on those notions of someone potentially being jealous of you, how do you handle it? You know what I mean? Like, what do you do? Like, are you like direct, like, "Yo, I gotta talk to this person right now. We gotta address this shit," or is it more like, "All right, let me sit back, see what happens, and if this shit starts to persist, now we have to have a conversation."
See, the thing is, you have to know who you're dealing with, I guess, as a person. Because again, you can have some friends who are easier to talk to. You know what I mean? You have, like you were saying, with your branches and your leaves types of friends, the ones that you are easier to talk to or open up with. And you can say, "Hey, I didn't like the way you said this about me. Maybe we can talk about it and, not press that issue again." Now, that comes with a chance of, one, the dynamics of the relationship being changed. So you guys will never be the same buku buddies as before. Or there's some kind of progress in your relationship and you're better than ever. Or let's say, for example, you have a friend who is just stubborn as hell and you try to
Yeah.
talk to them and nothing will ever be clear to them. And if you try to confront them on a mature type of conversation and not geared on a defensive type of level, they will always take it as such. It would never be received as coming from a place of understanding or a place of clarity. They will want to know, "Hey, why you think that I'm jealous of you?" And then that just feeds into like this bad wound of, if you repost something, are you subbing me? If you post something on some kind of social media platform, or if you repost a quote, like quotes aren't even safe anymore. If you repost a quote, oh, I feel good sleeping at peace now. Nobody's going to be sweating me anymore. Oh, you think I'm sweating you because I asked you where you got this bag from? And it just starts to roll over from there.
But see, the thing is, people like to read too much, right?
That's true.
And the thing is, all right, yes, through social media, we have mastered the art of subtweeting or sub posting and all this bullshit. So it's like for example, the other day I was messaging, I tweeted something about like, oh, sometimes giving myself or giving a lot of myself is exhausting, something to that effect. And then a friend of mine like texted me saying like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know, I don't want you to feel a certain way. I was like, well, first of all, I realized that you saw my tweet, but that wasn't meant for you. This was just more of a general thought that I was thinking of, all right? But the thing is, everyone is potentially looking at certain messages or the way you perceive yourself online as a sub, as, oh, this is a coded message. And sometimes it's not. So now your insecurities are kicking in, or that person's insecurities are kicking in. You're seeing something for what it's not. And now you're over thinking it. And then you approach a person and they're like, yo, what are you talking about? When it really isn't that serious. Now, some people are petty and some people will subtweet or do a sub post, and then it's a whole different story, right? And then you call them out on it, then they're like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. When you really do know, if you know the type of person you're dealing with, as you said, right? But if it's a general thing where it's like, yo, it's not even that serious, what are you talking about? Now you've ran into a situation where you kind of feel stupid. You know what I mean? But as you said, you have to know who you're dealing with. For me, like one, I don't subscribe to jealousy. I think jealousy is one of the ugliest traits that we as humans have, because it's like, why are we setting ourselves in a position to look at another person and compare ourselves to what they have or what they don't have or whatever, and compare that to us when we're all on just like different pages, right? And I've been jealous before, and so though I am not jealous all the time, I know creatively I've been jealous of like other people in my field who have been,
Mm-hmm.
advanced more than I have, and, have seen more accolades than me, even though I've been doing it for a long time. I know there was a point where I was getting a little bit jealous of like the new up and coming YouTube personalities that would like garner a large audience, when for me at the time, I was trying to do the same and I wasn't as successful. So those are like general, like base level instances of jealousy, which I just call fleeting, because they'd go, they come, I wouldn't really address it again, right? But I remember the first time I actually felt a hint of jealousy, and it was more of on a romantic level. Not only to get into too much details, but basically, I was dating someone, we broke up, and then they proceeded to tell me about a new person that they started talking to. And usually, in most cases, I wouldn't really mind that, because obviously people move on, people do what they have to do. But I think it was the particular instance of them telling me their name. And I don't know why. I don't know why them telling me their name was like the trigger. But they told me their name. And I think at that point, that planted the seed for me to want to get curious and now start searching for them and seeing who they were. And then after I did that, I guess I fell for the trick. I don't think it was intentionally, I don't think it was intended to be a trick, but I fell for whatever notion of jealousy that was. I started feeling weird. I was like, what is this? And I realized it was jealousy. I didn't like it. And ultimately, the person apologized for doing that and stuff. But in that moment, I felt jealous, and it was just a very sickening feeling. So, but some people live with it and they don't really know what it is, right? They don't really know where it comes from.
Yeah, that's so true. Like you were saying, in that regard, jealousy is something that is innate in us, I think, and we have checks and balances in our lives to try to curb how we're feeling at that particular moment, and some individuals have not learned how to check their emotions and just let it run free, and that causes a lot of damage to any relationship that they're in. And not being able to control your jealousy or even envious feelings
Yeah.
is one factor that um, is detrimental to a lot of relationships. So even me myself, I get jealous that I am not more uh more progressive in my life in comparison to others, not only professionally but personally as well. Of course,
Mm.
I always think about what my perfect life would be, and if it doesn't go out that way, I'm like, well, what's wrong with me? Why didn't that happen? And I let myself get a little jealous because I'm allowed to feel. I'm still human, but I have to realize that, wrong place, right time is real. I have to allow to myself that it's not my time, and, speak all those positive affirmations that I can still keep myself balanced and not be out of whack. But some people can't do that. I wanted to bring up an article that I found by Good Therapy, and they were talking about 6 signs about seeing your friend as jealous. And I wanted to go over that and see if you kind of resonated with anything or anything that pops out to you in your life, or if,
Sure.
so,
Try
okay.
me. Let's hear it.
I'm going to try you. So 6 signs your friend is jealous. All right. So the first sign is they greet you with good news. They treat your good news with negativity.
Mm.
When something good happens, you want to tell your closest friends, but instead of congratulating or supporting you, an envious friend might point out the possible downsides or only have negative things to say. Has that ever happened to you when you had good news and somebody is negative or quote unquote a hater, just point out things to you with any good
Uh,
news?
mm, I mean, yeah, I believe it has happened before. I don't know how often it has with one particular person. Uh, but yeah, there would be cases where I would have good news and people would always just, find the negative, or it'd be like, I mean, it would be very uh yeah, pessimistic. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, oh yeah, that's cool, but then what about
Or
this
the
and what about
backhanded
that?
compliments
Yeah,
that you were talking
the
about.
exactly. Whereas like, oh yeah, that's great. Oh, that's really nice for you. And so I'm so happy that you were able to finally do that after all this time. Like some shit that didn't need to be said, right? And it's just like, well, why'd you have to say it like that? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, I don't like, and I'm only saying this because I really don't know, and probably I'm just not good at picking up on clues or signs. But I don't know if I've ever had someone like directly do this and say, oh, they might be jealous of me.
Mm.
But I'm pretty sure it has happened before, and I just haven't really caught up or picked up on it in the moment. Has this happened
I've
to you?
dealt with this. Yeah, I've dealt with this.
Mm,
Being a foreign medical graduate and then going into podiatry and letting people that out know that I was moving to Florida to pursue podiatry. A lot of people were negative about it. They're like, you have your medical degree already. Why are you doing this? Well, why podiatry? Podiatry isn't real medicine, or they'll just come
mm.
and be
It's
real
not
negative
real
about stuff.
medicine. Like, what the
Yeah,
hell is it?
man.
Like,
There's so many derogatory things about podiatry, but I'm all like, hey, you here, and guess what? Who phone you're gonna start calling as soon as you start doing those crate challenges? Bloop. Guess what? You got broken Achilles. Your ankle
oh boy.
can't get back. You can't start walking. Who are you gonna call, right? Who are you gonna call,
You're
right?
gonna call
But
spicy. That's who you're
you're,
gonna
you're
call.
you're telling me that, oh, I shouldn't do this. I'm limiting myself, but it's something that I like. I went through all clinics. I went through peds, went to OB, I went to family medicine and IM. Nothing really spoke to me. So when I tell people that, I always get this like, this air of, oh, that's beneath you. Why should you do it? You got to live your life happy. And if these people are negative about you, everybody who I said that I was going to do this when I moved, they were so supportive. The people who did not believe in me, I just don't talk to them anymore. I'm
Meanwhile,
a cutter
they're probably,
offer.
yeah, we know you're the queen of the block. We know that already. Meanwhile, these same jealous friends, they probably work in retail. They probably hate their jobs and they find their way out. So,
But they always on vacation. So,
well, the stimulus treated us all very well, hasn't it? So there's
no.
that. Yikes. There we are. Or not. Who cares? Moving on.
All right. Next on this list, they frequently try to outdo you or one up you.
Hmm.
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 Emphasize, please.
If you share something positive from your life, a friend dealing with jealousy might respond by sharing something similar, only bigger and better. In other words, you may notice a pattern of behavior where they not only imitate you, but try to go one step further. For example, you may say you make your first purchase, a new car. A few months later, they purchase the exact same car, but with the newest model. Of
Hmm.
course, purchasing the car does not always indicate jealousy. They might like the car, but this suggests jealousy when they happen to try to outdo you with a 2023 car and you just got the 2020.
Yes, that's a good example. Um, I, you know, uh,
Have
um,
you ever been outdone? Has anybody tried to outdo you?
if anything, I might have been jealous of my friends at a time when, for example, let's say they got like the latest. Well, I don't know. I mean, it can. I don't really necessarily call it jealousy. Maybe it's more just like competitive nature, where it's just like, okay, my
Don't
friend just
downplay it. If you were jealous,
no,
you was
I'm not.
jealous.
No, no, no. I'm only saying that because my. I mean, as I said, it could be both, but I mean, it can lean to jealousy because, for example, like I would, my friend would have like the latest camera, and then I would want to like have something similar. So then I would imitate that and then get like the newest model of the same type of camera, and then we'd be kind of going back and forth. Like I would get new equipment, they'll get new equipment, vice versa. But I mean, I know that this particular, or I would know that that person is not necessarily jealous of me. It's just more like we're kind of having this competitive, like this very casual competitive nature about ourselves and going back and forth, right? It will be different. I think the framing of that would be different if I bought a camera and then they bought the exact same camera like mine, just with like a different feature when they didn't need to buy that camera, right?
Exactly.
They just bought out of spite. And I know that for me, I had never bought anything out of spite for someone else. So it's all context.
It's funny how you say out of spite. I've seen, I wouldn't even say the whole one up thing, but I've seen homeboys. I don't even know how tight they are, but they steal their homeboy's girl. I don't know if that's a one up thing or I don't know the dynamics of humans. But I've seen it in play that the guy's girlfriend, best friend, would try to holler at her behind his back. And
Mm.
that's kind of foul. And I don't know if that's a sense of jealousy because he has a girl and he wants that girl, or he wants to be better than them, or show that, you know, he can be, because you know how they slide in the DMs. Oh, he don't treat you right, yada yada yada. I could do
Right.
better for
I could do
you and all
better.
this jazz. Yeah, you know how they talk, right?
Meanwhile, it's I could do better at the moment. It's not I could do better overall. I could do better than him right now. That means, you know what I mean? I'm not a better person, but I can do better than him right now. And they're
But is
probably
that
like,
friend jealous or envious? Like how is that like not in the same category? Like you're trying to one up your friend that's already in a relationship. Like that's kind of fucked up.
I mean, yes, I think there's a notion of that. I mean, it's fucked up regardless. I think there's a notion of that that can lean into jealousy or envy. I think really what it is, if anything, it may be a case where that person tries to get someone that's very similar to that girl, right? And then they show them off as like, oh, how does your girl look just like my girl, just different? You know what I mean?
Mm,
I feel
mm.
like that's a level of like a more direct example of like, oh wow, you basically copied and pasted my girl.
That's scary.
That's wild.
That's that's
Be,
that's weird.
your homeboy trying to clone your girl
That's
just to
suspicious.
show up to the spot is dirty and weird. And
Oh my God.
um, now I've been in a scenario in the past, and once again, I was young, I was very, very ignorant, and I was very callous. But I was in a position where, but I mean, I wasn't. I just got very messy with a friend's girlfriend, and then they ended up being my
Oh,
girl.
you were one of those? Oh, you just did the
But I did,
scenario I was talking about.
but I
Wait a
didn't
minute.
do it. I don't think
Let's
I did.
backtrack.
But I wasn't jealous of that friend. I wasn't out of jealousy. It was just more out of
You got to
I was
explain. You got to
I was
explain the
just
situation.
I was being a callous person. It was as I said, I was cocky, I was egotistical, I was narcissistic, and I just got into a position where I guess I might have not directly said I was better than him at the moment, but she was framing
Mm,
me as better than him. So I kind of just fed into
mm.
that. So
Wow.
yes. But as I said, I know that I wasn't particularly jealous of him. I think I got into a position, or I was put in a position where I was fed a line and I bit into it, and then I kind of just went with it. And also, once again, with my ego, narcissism, it kind of tied into me thinking, okay, I'm better than this guy, when that was something I've never thought of before. So it all just kind of got really messy at that time. But
Are y'all still friends now?
whomst.
You and homeboy.
Oh yeah, we're good. This was a long time ago.
Wow. How do you
Life,
guys do that? How
life,
do men
because
keep
life. No,
that?
but there was a time where we weren't talking. There was a time where I like, and we were in very close circles with each other. So there was times when like we weren't legit talking. There'd be a point where we would be in the same space, and I swore that he was gonna just walk up to me and punch me in the face because I honestly deserved it.
Jeez.
It was not volatile. It wasn't like next day we were homies and dapping up. Like it was very volatile to the point where time passed and we actually had a sit down conversation, and we were able to like work out our differences and just like talk everything through. So um yeah,
Well,
but
that's good. I'm glad
that
you
took
found resolution.
that took time and growth. But at the time it was, I mean, in the
Hmm.
like the epicenter of it, it was really bad. But as I said, I don't think I necessarily came out of jealousy. It was just more something else. But
It,
either
it
way,
had
people
like
do
a little sliver of jealousy behind it.
more than likely, more than likely. But yeah, I mean, people do this every day. I mean, it's a very common practice where you try to outdo somebody, try to one up somebody, and yeah, it just and especially when people get involved, that's where it's never good. You
Mm.
know, so.
Okay, moving on our list. Your friend, they make you feel bad about yourself.
Hmm.
A friend experiencing jealousy can quickly make you feel guilty or bad about success, no matter how wonderful you felt about it. A jealous friend might also insist that you are just lucky and make you feel as though you can only enjoy your luck while you can. How that is kind of ass backwards. Why am I lucky for my success? So I'm doing something and I'm working hard for it, and I'm pursuing my dreams and getting good accolades and accomplishments, and you have a friend that's been there with you through the struggle and just tells you enjoy it while your luck runs out. Why is it based on luck? That is such an underhanded compliment in a nutshell. How can somebody can see you physically put in hours and work and blood, sweat, and tears say your success is based on luck? That's something a jealous friend does.
Well, you have to also understand that person themselves feels like they're doing the same thing, and the fact that they're not getting the results that they desire versus you getting those same results that they would particularly want. That's where that comes in. Where it's like, damn, they lucky. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing the same thing. I'm out here working. I'm out here being an entrepreneur,
Mm.
and I just took that from our last episode. Sorry. Out here hustling. Like,
Oh
but
God.
someone like that would feel like they're on the same trajectory as you, and then you progress more than them, and now they get jealous where it's like, yo, they must be lucky because I was doing the same exact thing, or I'm trying to do the same exact thing, and I'm not getting the desired results while you are. So rightfully so, I think in those scenarios, jealousy definitely could creep up very easily.
But I I don't know if I can agree, because even though there is an essence of luck behind it, as my friend, you shouldn't make that the forefront of my success either. As my friend, you shouldn't make me feel bad about something that I'm actively doing so I can feel good about myself and my accomplishments.
I
So
agree.
even if there is an element of luck, because again, everyone has their season, everyone has their time to shine. What was the quote? Don't be jealous of somebody else's season because you don't know what their struggle is or whatever. At that moment, you as my friend shouldn't try to downplay me and make me feel bad. You have friends to uplift you, or to tell your secrets to, or to open up when you can't talk to everyone in the real world. And that safe space that you created with your friend, they're bringing you down. Like, I can't agree with the whole, yeah, this is happening to me, but you lucky. We doing the exact same thing, but it's just that you got luck on your side. All right, that's fine. But
But
that's not
see,
the only thing.
correct. And we get so caught up with the destination and not the journey, right? I think that's where people get jealous because at the end of the day, they're just seeing your accomplishments, right? But they're not acknowledging that, yo, you actually did work hard for this. You actually
Right.
put
You
in
put
that
in
time,
work. Yeah.
right? But they're not, but they're in their brain, considering that they are, once again, they've done the same things and they're not getting the desired results, or in this case, they haven't reached that destination for them. They're going to see you reach your destination and say, oh, well, you're lucky that you got this, or it could have happened to anybody, when it really it didn't. You know what I mean? And that's hard. It's hard to see someone, it's hard to see a friend of yours, if you're really not in that supportive space, reach a certain milestone in their lives that they've been working hard for, while you feel like you've been doing the same and you haven't gotten to that point yet. It's hard to see that. I mean, at the end of the day, if you're a genuine friend, you're going to be supportive regardless. But other people who may not be as genuine are going to take that a certain way and be jealous.
Yeah, that's
You know,
true. I
so
can find I see, I try not to get down that rabbit hole of jealousy, because
it's bad.
I don't like to think of it as also just being lucky. Like, there's choices that I made in my life that I know would not go how I wish my life would have been. Like, I make those conscious choices to say, all right, if I do this, I know this was going to happen in my life, but if I do
Mhm.
this, I will go down this pathway instead. So I need someone to know that moving forward, if you're going to be my friend, whatever choice that I make in life, whether it's a good choice for me or a bad choice for me, I just need your support, not for you to knock me down every step of the way. All right, sometimes I might need a reality check, but if you are always having some negative connotations behind everything you say, you're only going to make me not want to fuck with you anymore, or go out with you, just change the dynamics of the relationship. Or if we have close friends or go out for bottomless brunch, I'm not going to want to drink with you or split the bill with you, because I
Right.
feel as though you're a shiesty person, you
Big
know?
shiesty. Hmm.
100% shiesty. I'm not going to want to break bread with you. That's the ultimate. Everybody goes out for links and drinks. Like, we're not going to go out and hang out and you hate me. Like, you can't hate me as a friend.
But realistically, and you also have to keep in mind that, once again, jealousy is not one of those outright, out front traits that people are proud of, right? Or people
Mm-hmm.
recognize, or people want to admit, right? Because once again, no one wants to be a hater. You know what I'm saying? We're quick to call everyone a hater. No one wants to be a
But
hater.
everyone's a hater. No one wants to be a hater, but we're so much hatred. Like, even if you look in the comments, it could be something positive. They will find a hateful aspect of it. A little kid graduated from kindergarten. Why the kid has to have on these kinds of shoes, and the parents knew that they were graduating, instead of the big picture of the child actually accomplishing something. There's always going to be
Right.
somebody that has some kind of hateration that they've been sipping on.
Right. And social media makes it extremely easy for us to express that trait without that level of accountability, right? You see someone shining, you see someone doing this and that. For example, we were mentioning earlier about Shakari Richardson, right? After that whole scandal of her getting
Ooh,
kicked out the
child.
Olympics, she recently had a race where she came in last, and yet, the media
That
was
that
still
that
on
that
her,
last.
right? The media was still on her and still focusing on her and her story. And I'm pretty sure there was a lot of those races where they were like, "Yo, hello, she got in last. Why is she getting all this media attention when there's other people who got in first and second and third?" You know what I mean? And
Yep.
that I think it's a mix of being jealous of her particularly, but just jealous of the situation where it's like, yo, she's become this big personality and she's getting recognized for not accomplishing, not achieving. It's just like, yo, what is that? It's kind of like the reverse. You know what I mean? As I said, social media makes it very easy to be jealous and be a
It
hater
does.
and stuff like that. And once again, because there's no accountability, right? There's as much as you want to be a freaking like keyboard warrior, you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, there's no direct effect to you spewing all this negativity to someone. And unless they go find you, there's no type of clapback that's going to happen. So you get to freely, type your keyboard and then keep it pushing, son.
Yeah.
And that's the part that makes it so. I think when people are on social media and they see all these things and it gets overwhelmed, they get overwhelmed, and it's overwhelming to see all that type of negative feedback based on people's accomplishments.
Yeah.
Because once again, we're only seeing the destination. And right, with social media, as I was saying before, with social media, you're only seeing the destination. You're not factoring in how hard this person may have worked or what they've had to go through to get to this point in their career or their journey. We're only focused on, oh, they made it or they did that. Okay, cool. Well, anybody can do that. Oh, I could do that too if I wanted to, but blah, blah, blah. Then the question is, why didn't you?
Yeah.
Mm,
True.
mm. And once again, jealousy is not a front standing trait to be proud of. So you're not going to hear somebody say, well, I'm confident, I'm jealous, and I also like being forthcoming. Like no one's admitting to jealousy. You know what I mean?
Some people do. They use that as a cover though, because they'll say, "Oh, I'm really cool, but sometimes I get jealous," and they use that as a gateway to show off all their toxic traits about them. Just yelling, screaming, being irate, not listening to other people. Like, I'm a jealous person. Random. I had a friend who only wanted to occupy my time, and she didn't want me to have any other friends around. I cut it real short because you know me. We only knew each other for a couple of months. She started so funny. I don't even want to get this out there, but she probably don't talk about her anyway. She'll listen and realize it. Homegirl called me up 10 times in a row on a Saturday morning, like crazy, wanted to know what I was doing for Halloween. And I decided not to block her. So I went I went in the parking lot the next day, and this girl always parks in a commuter lot. And all of a sudden, I see her car right next to mine. And me being from New York, that's red alert, red alert. Like, like I was like, girl, I text immediately no. I was like, listen, I don't think we're in a good space for us to be friends anymore. I would prefer if you and I go our separate ways at this time. And you know what? That was harder than an actual romantic relationship for me, because it's like, I don't dislike her, but I can tell
Yeah, it's ramping
certain
up.
traits. And it was too soon. It was just too soon. It was a lot too soon. I
Too
need you in
intense.
doses. Yeah, I need you in doses. And just doing all of that, getting mad that because I'll say, oh, can we hang out on Friday? I'm like, oh no, I gotta go hang out with my friend. Oh, well, we got lots of friends. And I'm like, what? Like, that sounds
Oh, baby, Six Flags Great Adventure. Oh, baby,
that
run,
sounds like,
just
I'm like,
run.
am I not supposed to have other friends? Like, do you know there's different tiers of friendships? Like, sometimes, you have your colleagues, you have the girls that you just hang out with, you have your real close friends, You have the ones that's in betweens. You have the ones that's like sisters and family members. She didn't even make it that far into a category. Okay, baby.
Yikes.
So just those little like sayings and nuances. Oh, where'd you get this? Oh, I need to get that too. Oh, you have this friend. Why are you hanging out with this person? Who is this person? I don't know them. Of course you don't know them because you don't know my friends. Like we haven't had an actual outing so we can all introduce each other so you can say it's a friend of a friend. You know what I mean? I feel like she
Right.
was one of those girls who, friends are friends, and then all of a sudden those two friends become closer than you and your original friend. Like,
Yeah, and that happens in many cases. And then people
I'm
get
like,
big jelly. And I've been in scenarios where I've seen people being jealous of other people I know, and I had to like shut it down. And I was just like, yo, there's really no reason for you to be jealous right now. And not to get into too much details, but I mean, I've seen it unfold in front of my eyes, and I had to call them out on it. It's like, why are you being jealous right now? And they didn't
mm-hmm,
have a direct answer, but it was just like, you're pointing out all these things about this person that I know, and it's like just admit that you just say that you're jealous and go. And they
mm-hmm.
couldn't directly say that, but I could tell. I mean, it was so blatantly evident that they were being jealous. And once again, they're not going to necessarily call it out, but I feel like people who do call it out in a very like cute facetious way is also very strange. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you know me, I'm jealous, or like, you
Yeah,
know
they just trying to soften the blow.
in a romantic sense, you have the girlfriend be like, well, my man knows that I'm jealous, and I'm just like, are you proud of this? Is this you want a medal for being the jealous
It's
girlfriend?
a sense of opening up.
But it's just like, right, yeah, you're showing them like, yo, warning, I'm big jelly, and it's just like, this is not an incentive for me to want to continue this relationship, because I don't want someone who's going to be jealous of. Well, I mean, I would prefer to be with someone that's not jealous of like my other friends and stuff like that. But then I mean, speaking for myself, I also have to factor in that I, oh boy, exposure. I hate this chapter of my life where I have to be so transparent. Ah,
I'm
um,
so sorry for that outburst.
no, it's fine. You can enjoy it. Sap it
I'm
up.
not enjoying it. I support you, friend.
Okay. Considering that I do have a large sum of women friends, it is natural. I
I
feel
think
like
it's different for you. It's different for you.
for just
But
me, or,
when
or men's in general.
you
All right, then we don't have to go. We don't have to
yeah, I'm
deep
not
dive.
gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there.
We don't have to deep dive. The point is, there might be other men that are in my scenario that have a
I don't
similar
think
thing
so.
where. So what's the next one on this list? What's the next item that you were talking about?
I'm gonna close it. I'm gonna close this list off right here.
Okay, cool. I think that's a fantastic idea. Um, so yes, for those of you who might know or not know the signs, those are some things that jealousy looks like.
Actually, no. There's one more that I think that this is a good one.
Mhm.
Last one. They lie to get sympathy. Toxic
Mm,
friends tend to inflate their backstory and they play up a chaotic nature of their backstories just to get sympathy out of your life. And they might lie and tell lots of stories that don't make sense and don't add up. And there's never a truth about anything, even with someone you consider a friend. Has
mm.
that ever happened to you?
I'm not sure. I don't.
You
I'm
never had a friend play up a lie or just lie to you all the time
uh, a,
consistently?
a friend that lies to me consistently.
Like whatever happens, it's always a lie. Like it could be any little
Oh,
story.
like they
Oh,
exaggerate or they
they
do all this.
exaggerate a story, or let's say you had a very important event that you were counting on them to be on, and they say that, oh, they were having car trouble and they couldn't make it on time, and within a few minutes, randomly check their IG story and they're driving in their said car to another party,
This sounds
even
very
though they told
specific.
you. No. No, this is not specific to me. I don't have an
Okay.
event, but I'm just saying they just go to another event and you had a very big, let's say you had a comedy debut show and you were banking on them to be there to support you. They said that their car was broken or their car needed to be fixed. And you go on their story, and this happens more than once with a whole bunch of stuff, and they're somewhere else in their car. You know how people take the IG stories and they're driving in their car trying to showcase what car they drive and what music they're listening to and what vibes they're on. So that just came up and they weren't even thinking about you actually looking at their story because you're busy at your event. You know what I mean?
I see. Yeah, no, I don't think that's ever happened to me in particular, but I mean, I can imagine like that is certainly a very shisty, very grimy way to promote jealousy. Um,
But a lot of
yeah.
people tend to do that. And I think they forget if they're gonna lie,
Mm.
do the lie right. Don't do the lie and you posting where you are, or you on Twitter saying, oh, drinks is really lit at this place, or you taking pictures of your drink and posting it on Facebook, and you have a friend who wants you there at their gig, or who knows, maybe even their baby shower, who knows? Like, you have a friend that's waiting on you to be there for them, and you are just consistently lying about things instead of being truthful and say, hey, no, I don't want to be there. Or you may have a friend who always lies. I've seen this a lot on intervention. But this is a whole different scenario. But they
Mm.
lie to try to get money out of people all the time.
Wow. Wow, yeah.
Yeah. This is like one show I was watching. He really needed to get, this is not a true story, audience. This is not a true story. Okay. He needed to get some heroin, right? And he
Mm.
could not get the money anywhere else. So he went and he told his poor grandfather that he needed to have $20 to take a drug test. Now, if anybody knows you don't have to pay to take a drug test, he's been swindling this man for years, saying he needed to get random drug tests to send to his PO officer, his parole officer, to get his drug tested for his urine tested for drugs, and he's out there going and buying drugs with the money.
The
Like,
irony, yes. The
but
irony.
you've never had a friend lie to you.
I'm pretty sure I
Man,
have.
what kind of friends you have? Because all of these things, I felt like I've dealt with minute aspects of it with, I wouldn't even say friends, but like colleagues, or just like people that I just interact on a daily basis. But it seems like you don't have much negative people in your life at all.
Um,
You
yeah.
started you did the jealousy thing. You missed to steal your girl. Like, whoo.
Then I think the quaint conclusion would be that I would be the toxic friend.
Oh,
This would be the
what a
plot twist.
conundrum.
Would be the plot twist of this whole conversation. Um, but I've never been jealous, but I have done a lot of toxic things. So
Maybe this list I'm talking describes you. I wasn't. It wasn't going there. This conversation was not going there. I promise
no,
you.
uh,
But this
I
realization definitely came full circle.
all right. Well, you know what? Maybe I've exhibited more toxic, jealous traits than more than I may believe. Because I'm now looking at them as like there have been instances where I've probably have been jealous, and I've probably just covered it with comedy or being lighthearted or just being, or I'm joking, haha. When all the while I could have been jealous, and I just didn't know it. So yes, this episode is somehow about me. Good job.
Okay, that's kind of narcissistic.
I'm not being
But
narcissistic, but I'm just looking at the clues, and I'm being transparent with myself, and I'm just realizing that yes, I have exhibited some of these roles with other friends, and that I ironically might have been the jealous friend at a time, which is ironic because I don't like being jealous or I don't like jealousy. So I'm just trying to be true to myself, right?
Just be your
Yes,
authentic self.
correct. The show is not about me. I know that. Or this episode's not about me. I'm really trying to be open with myself and recognize that yes, I might have exhibited some, if not most, of these traits.
I don't think I exhibited some of these traits, maybe one or two. I can
Okay.
admit that because sometimes I do get jealous and say, why haven't I found the love of my life? Or why am I not married? Or why am I not a billionaire like Oprah? Or why don't I have this great private practice? And then sometimes I
Mhm.
realize that I just need to just live my life for myself and be happy and mind my business. Like if it's not for me right now,
It's
then
not for
so
you,
be it.
and keep it
Yeah.
pushing. And
I
yeah,
can't force something.
I tend to think in the same ways of just like trying to extract the jealousy and realize that I'm on my own path. Just reminding myself I'm on my own path. I'm on my own journey. If other people that are similar in a similar boat than me makes it to their destination, then good on them. But everything for me is happening the way it needs to happen, and that usually helps me center back to focusing on myself and focusing on what I need to do instead of focusing on other people and what they're doing. You know, so that's a good way of centering yourself or getting back to center. But speaking of, let's go through quickly um, this list of ways to let go of jealousy, right? So what are
Mm-hmm.
those things that we can do? And it says here, so some of the ways here is trace it back to its source, right? If you get that jealous twinge, as we all have, ask yourself what lies at the root of it. Then take the steps to change what you don't like in order to get what you want. Examining your jealous feelings can give you insight on where they came from. For example, your sister's new relationship causes jealousy because you haven't had much luck dating and you never find the right person, similar to what you were talking about, right? Your coworker's
Mm-hmm.
promotion makes you feel jealous because you believe you aren't good enough at your job to get a promotion yourself. That's a form of, oh, we talked
Is
about
this
it
list in my
before.
head?
That example is a form of um the syndrome that we talked about, imposter syndrome. Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Right. When your partner starts spending a lot of time with a new friend, you feel jealous because that was the first time you noticed when a previous partner cheated, right? So all these
Mm,
things, yep,
PTSD.
are
Yep.
are things. Correct. All right. So let's go to the next one. Voice your concerns. If your partner's actions or someone else's actions toward your partner trigger jealous feelings, bring this up with your partner as soon as possible. Clear and direct communication. Uh, so your partner may not have noticed the behavior or they may not have realized how you felt about it. Use the opportunity to, um, use this opportunity to talk over any relationship boundaries you might want to revisit or discuss ways to keep your relationship strong. Talk to a trusted friend. Jealousy could sometimes give you a slightly warped sense of reality. You might wonder if
Mm-hmm.
that nonverbal flirting you swear you saw actually happened, right? So this is what I'm talking
Mm.
about when it comes to subliminals or all these things
I
that we might
like that.
find,
That warped sense.
right? Where it's like, hey, is that a sub to me, or is that directed to me, or is that really just something else? Sometimes voicing these concerns to a third party can make the situation less frightening and help you gain some perspective. So there's that. Also, put a different spin on jealousy. Jealousy can be a complex, strong emotion, and you might not feel very good when you're dealing with it. But instead of thinking of it as something negative, try to look at it as a helpful source of information.
Mm.
Jealousy tells you there's a difference between what you have and what you want. Um, they add that unchecked jealousy can turn into self-blame and create a cycle that keeps you feeling deprived. But you may be able to
Mm.
manage it by identifying it as helpful information that you could use to create circumstances in which your needs are met, which is actually a really interesting and really helpful way to like spin jealousy around, right? because jealousy is a negative trait, and we usually tend to spiral or a rabbit hole when it comes to a level of jealousy, but then kind of getting to the core of it and realizing, okay, why am I jealous of this person? Or what is it that they have that I'm seeking, or what I'm looking
What
for?
is this trying to tell me at this
Right.
moment? Yeah.
And instead of, you know, being, I guess, abrasive or being, what's the word when you kind of do something like just sporadically? Um, well, whatever. Instead of being, in a sense of like just sporadic and just trying to copy this person, you know, really dissect why it is that you're jealous, and those needs, and then like work your way towards it. You know what I mean? Consider the full picture. Jealousy sometimes develops in response to a partial picture. In other words, you might be comparing yourself and your own achievements and attributes to an idealized or incomplete view of someone else, right? So once
Mm,
again, it goes back to social media. We're seeing one piece of the puzzle when we see someone accomplish something and stuff like that, and we have no idea what their backstory is. We have no idea how they got
exactly.
there. They could have struggled so much to get to that point where they finally have succeeded, but we're only seeing the success and we're not seeing their journey, right?
Exactly.
It says here, yep, people typically display their best selves to the world. So it's not always easy to tell what's really happening in someone else's life or relationship. Then there's the whole issue of social media, which magnifies that concept, right?
Yeah.
Practicing gratitude for what you have. A little gratitude could go a long way. It's not only reduces feelings of jealousy, but also relieves stress. So once again, looking inward instead of looking outward, right? Being showing gratitude and being grateful for what you have, and not focusing on everybody else and what they're doing and what they have. You might not have everything you want. Most of us don't, but you probably have at least some of what you want. Maybe you even have some good things in your life that you didn't expect. And if anything, you might have something that that other person doesn't have. And now, you know, you're only focusing on what you don't have versus what you do have, right? So that is a means of reducing jealousy. Practice in the moment coping techniques. Coping with jealousy as it comes up won't help you work through underlying causes, but it can help you keep the distress at bay until you can deal with underlying issues. Turning your attention away from jealousy can also help keep you from acting on your feelings and doing something that can harm a relationship or friendship. So, you know, when you feel yourself getting that twinge, take a breath, take a step back, and realize, okay, I might be wilding. This might be a level of jealousy, or I might be feeling this way for no reason. Let me take some time to just take a breath, take a moment, and realize why I'm feeling this way. And then it also says here, exploring underlying issues, remembering your own value, practice mindfulness, give
Hmm.
certain things time, therapy. Therapy, I'm
Nobody
just gonna
likes
say
those things. Time and
yes.
therapy. No
Yeah,
one
because
likes
that
that.
that means you have to take things into your own hands in order
Hmm.
to work through your problems. But sometimes if you're feeling jealous, give it some time and talk to a therapist, because
Yeah.
sometimes you might need to work on something in you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and as I said, and as this article said, but in most cases where we either feel envious and jealousy, which there's a difference, real quick, just to mention, um, I looked up and it said that envy means discontented longing for someone else's advantages, while jealousy means unpleasant suspicion or apprehension of rivalship, right? So, in other words, I mean, envy is similar to jealousy in the sense of that, um, you know, you're longing or you're wanting to have something that have something of someone else's that you don't have, right? So it's all kind of like, you know, related. But ultimately, you know, if you are feeling jealous, or if you have a jealous friend, or if you've seen jealousy uh, you know, unfold in front of you, do your best to address it right in that moment, you know, or else it's just going to build and build and build, and then the jealousy is just going to cause someone to blow up, and it's not going to be pretty.
And I'd like to add,
Hmm.
even though you're going to be direct and open and honest in that moment, if said person is not at a good stage to receive that, you may have to cut losses and realize that it will be more harmful to keep a toxic and jealous friend in your life than it is to have one that's not there. Just my 2 cents.
Correct. Yeah, it's all depends on the value of that friend in your life. Like, if you find that there's value to that friend, but they just happen to have a very bad strain of jealousy, then, you know, do your best to talk to them if you feel like it's worth it. But if you feel like, hey, look, their jealousy is just way beyond, or it's just like becoming a toxic part of our relationship, then yeah, I'll let them go, son.
Yeah.
Point blank, period.
Facts. Facts.
And yeah, that's pretty much the case there. So watch your friends, watch your own self when it comes to jealousy. And as I said, if you feel that notion coming, do your best to nip it. And I'm talking to myself too, you know.
That's good.
I
That's
feel
good.
like every episode I'm just finding out more and more about myself, and I'm just staring in this mirror that is not
Glad you
exactly
have this
clean.
this moment of self-reflection. Like, see, I would say I used to be jealous in the past, but it was like stupid jealousies. Like, it wasn't anything serious. Like, the biggest jealousy I was, this sounds so childish, but
I mean, you were
when
younger,
I
so you're a
was,
child.
yeah, when I first went off into college,
Mhm.
all my friends, well, they had a group, right? And they all got tongue rings, right?
Oh my gosh, yes, I'm listening.
So I went to go and get my little consultation. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be wild, free, blah, blah, blah. I just got out of high school. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I go and I'm like, oh, look at my tongue. Ah, and I'm sticking out my tongue. And the guy was like, my tongue tip is way too short for a tongue ring. And I was not able to get one because the way my tongue is connected, the tip is right on my actual jawline. So I was mad because everybody else, at the time, era had and I'm taking pictures, videos with their tongue ring out,
Mhm.
and I have no holes in my mouth except the big one.
Oh,
So
sir.
that I was kind of jealous of that for a minute, but I was like, that's stupid. I was like, oh, whatever, I didn't get it. They still talking to me though. The guys, the men's.
I see. So it was really about the men's that
Shut
you
up.
have to
It
talk.
wasn't about it. I wanted to get it to be down with my friends. It was
Oh,
nothing
but
to do with
the
men's.
perk was that the men's would also notice as
You know what? At that time, I was like 17, 18. I wasn't even interested in men at that time,
well.
like, because I was a good girl.
Yes, you were. I'm agreeing with you. I have no other choice but to agree. All right. Anyway, so
Moving on.
we're just gonna wrap up the episode right
Yes,
here because
let's do that.
yeah, it feels like a great stopping point at this moment. Uh,
I shared a very embarrassing jealousy-ish story, but
I
yeah.
shared an embarrassing one too, son.
No, it wasn't you jealous of anybody. You still had this narcissistic tone of turning it into people being jealous of moi.
No, no, I admitted to being jealous of other people.
You didn't have a story though.
I did. I told you about I was jealous of my, at this point, ex-girlfriend's new partner.
That's normal.
That was the first time I legit felt a sense of jealousy. Like
I'm
I
not
was,
gonna take away your thunder. I'm gonna let you live in your
oh,
truth
all right. Okay.
and support that because it is Virgo season.
Yes, it is. And if anyone's gonna be jealous of a Virgo, it's gonna be some other sign that doesn't deserve.
No, we don't. Whoa. Wow. You woke up and chose violence.
I was coming in support of you.
We don't want to make anyone jealous. We just like everyone to encompass all signs.
Hmm. Okay. All right.
Wow, you are picking violence.
I'm not choosing violence. More violence is choosing me.
All
We just have
right.
to live in the same neighborhood. That's all. Anyway, I hope you guys learned something today. I hope you at least listen to this episode, are able to look inward and realize if you may have been jealous recently or not, or, and be able to work it out.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And that is it for us. So, yeah, hope you enjoyed this episode.
Hope you enjoyed it.
Yes, indeed. Hope you're able to check us out on our social media platforms, especially the podcast platforms. Check us out on SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or wherever you listen to podcasts. On social media, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and now TikTok. Ow.
Hey, it took you forever to get here,
Okay,
but
not
we
it took us. It took us. We are a team here. We are a team. So that means it took us forever to get on TikTok, but here we are. Thank you so much. So we are on TikTok. We are going to roll out content as it comes. So follow us on there, and we are gonna do our best to entertain and inform and share our opinions on that platform. So please follow us on the talk. Also YouTube, where you'll see our faces for the podcast as well. We're everywhere, y'all. Also, live show coming up soon. We have a date and time. As I said, that will be on the social media, so make sure to check that out and support and show up. That will
tell them
be
now.
highly...
Tell them now.
Oh, well, I mean, okay, I can tell them now. I mean, by the time they
Might
listen
as
to this,
well. Yes,
right.
Tell them now.
All right, fine. So our live show is going to be September 12th of 2021
whoop,
of this
whoop,
year.
whoop, whoop.
Location to be disclosed once you
TBD.
RSVP. It's not TBD.
TBD.
It's already been determined.
To be disclosed. Wow.
TBD, to be disclosed. Oh, okay.
I was just trying to follow your lead, but forget it. You said
No,
to be disclosed. I was trying to follow your lead, and you just shut me down.
Mean to be determined, so I didn't know. You didn't specify what the D was.
But it followed right after to be disclosed. It did. Run the audio back again.
Got.
How
I
about
can't do
that
it at this moment, but sure. So yes.
Whatever.
Location to be disclosed. TBD. Once you RSVP. And yeah,
you see how that flowed?
It did flow. I like that.
You like that. You like that.
So yes, make sure to RSVP. And yeah, I'm really excited about it. This is going to be our first in-person live show. Outside of the panoramic, it would be nice just to be in a nice small setting, an intimate setting with some of y'all. And yeah, we're looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to this. It's been a big accomplishment for us to even reach 5 years. And as I will emphasize enough, I'm really happy that Rove has been able to join me on this journey and for us to be able to, get to this milestone. So yeah, it's definitely a cause for celebration.
Yes, I'm happy to be here. Happy to see everyone come out in attendance and have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
Yes, so that's that on that. So yes, so make sure to RCP when the time comes. And yeah, we look forward to seeing all your great faces. Okay, that is about it for us. Oh yeah, also follow us on social media too, if you choose.
And email us any questions you have.
Yes, email sophigpodcast@gmail.com. And we will answer your questions because we really, really need to answer questions because we would like to do that. So yes, that is about it for us. Once again, thanks for listening, and we'll check y'all next time. And for those who might be jealous of us out there, please don't be, because come on, it don't look good.
We were doing so well.
Oh, Marie, I was just trying to.
I know what you were trying to do, but
All right.
I get it.
That's right.
It's cool. We love everyone.
Yes, we love all of our listeners. Okay. Check y'all next time.
Later.
Say goodbye, Rovie.
Bye, Rovie.